what's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation expert, money mindset and fulfillment coach, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur. Come sit with me while I spill the real tea on what it's like to practice using intentional manifestation, demystify all of the woo-woo and confusing bullshit that comes along with creating the life of your dreams, and give you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, spiritual, and professional growth journey. The goal of this podcast is to support and guide you towards manifesting all of your dreams, shed light on the things that people are too scared to talk about, and encourage you to become the person who gets to have it all, be it all, and do it all. I am so happy you are here. Let's fucking do this thing. Y'all, I am so happy you are here today, and I am so happy today. Your girl got a new microphone for podcasting, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. I have been working on making the sound better for the podcast because, as you all know, this is a very new podcast and I have absolutely no knowledge about audio or any of the things that go into creating good sound. And I was so frustrated the first few episodes when I was back in Colorado. I just bought a random microphone off of Amazon. It had some good reviews, so I figured why not? We'll try this one out and we'll see how it goes. And I thought it was going to be perfect. And I plugged it in and there was so much static noise. There was so much echo. I had no clue what to do. I was going from room to room, sitting in closets, and none of it was working. So the show had to go on. I just went with it, and it's been bugging me, not gonna lie, the past few episodes, solo shows specifically, that I've recorded with the last microphone. And thank goodness for my incredible assistant, Stacy. Shout out, Stacy. I adore you. But my assistant, Stacy, she used to do audio and voiceover work and knows lots about microphones, lots about sound quality, and was helping me with the last few episodes of getting the best quality I could with the microphone that I had. So painting the picture of what that looked like, the last few episodes, I have been sitting underneath like a homemade fort, essentially, with my coffee table in the middle, this pole going up out of the middle of it, giant blanket draping over the sides, and me sitting underneath it with the microphone to try to drown out as much noise as I possibly could, because I have really high ceilings and the last microphone was just picking up on so much of the static sound. And it was pretty hilarious. I should probably post a photo of it on my Instagram. Y'all send me a DM and let me know if you want me to post this picture of myself underneath my fort recording the podcast, because it's pretty comical and I will show all of you if you want that. So send me a DM if you want to see me in my fort. But here we are. Big deep breath. Whew, here we are. New microphone, better sound quality for the podcast. So excited, so happy to not have to sit underneath the fort anymore. And with all of that being said, today on the podcast, I want to talk to all of you about how being selfish is actually going to fuel your manifestations. And this is something that I do not see being talked about enough in the world of manifestation. And honestly, I see quite the opposite of it, that the only way to, and this is a misconception, that the only way to attract in and manifest more abundance into your life is by giving. Giving all the time. And by giving, then hopefully putting yourself into energetic alignment with receiving. And while I'm not saying that giving is a bad thing, because it's most definitely not, I'm a firm believer in the fact that we need more good, kind-hearted people in the world with more money, more impact, more influence, because that's how we can create more change. What I am saying is that when you are not energetically full, when you are not taken care of, when you are putting the wants and needs of other people before you're putting your own, that's no way for you to actually attract in and manifest the things that you desire, and oftentimes continue to perpetuate cycles of lack, feelings of not enough, feelings of just feeling unworthy, and feeding into people-pleasing tendencies, and really just putting ourselves down. And what I want to say with that is that it's okay if that is the pattern or the behavior that you act within. That is what our society as a whole has taught us to do. To always put the wants and needs of other people before our own, to constantly be in this place of people pleasing, making other people feel comfortable, always dimming our lights, dimming our truths in order to protect other people. And this is something that I experienced in my life for a long fucking time before doing the inner work and realizing why I had this pattern and behavior in the first place of people pleasing, putting the wants and needs of other people first, always putting myself on the back burner, never prioritizing myself. And I recognized that I learned that from my mom, because my mom was the most selfless, still is the most selfless woman. She was constantly putting the wants and needs of my dad before her own, as well as me and my brother, and just gave all the time. It was almost as though it was the way that she felt validated within herself was to give to others. And when our subconscious minds are being formed, the way that we perceive ourselves and the way that we behave, we typically learn from mom. And that is because mom is an extension of self. So me recognizing within myself that I acted within the same patterns and behaviors, even though I had for years and years told myself that I was nothing like my mom, I was nothing like my dad, that I was completely different. In reality, everything is a learned behavior. So by me recognizing that I wasn't prioritizing myself, that I was putting the wants and needs of other people before my own, that I was constantly people pleasing, that came from somewhere. And I'm not saying any of this to bash on my mom, because she is doing and was doing the best that she knows to do, that she was taught to do. Because just like I said, everything is a learned behavior. So she had to learn it from somewhere in the first place too. And we continue to pass down the beliefs and the embodiments that we learned to the people in our lives because we just deem them as normal. We deem them as what's best for the people in our lives and how to teach them to be good, kind-hearted individuals, to be nice. And that is what I embodied. So for years and years of my life, I put the wants and needs of other people first. I prioritize other people before I prioritize myself, and I was a massive people pleaser. Hand up over here. Hello, my name is Kat Kozad, and I am a recovering people pleaser. And what that looked like for me in my life was always shifting and changing the way I acted, what I did, the way that I presented myself to people, to try and make them comfortable, to make them happy, and to make sure that their wants and needs were taken care of before my own. And I was walked all over. I allowed friendships, relationships, all different kinds of circumstances in my life, work, different employers, walk all over me. Walk all over me, because this is what I was taught was what you do. You keep the discomfort with yourself and the pain with yourself, because it's easier to sit with that pain and that discomfort than it is to make somebody else uncomfortable. But it didn't make me happy by any means. It oftentimes left me feeling completely disposable, completely used, completely manipulated, but recognizing that I was the one who was creating that dynamic in the first place. We are responsible for the way things are playing out in our lives. So recognizing that I was the responsible one for this. I was the one who was allowing people to use me, manipulate me, walk all over me, which was super uncomfortable to come to the realization of. That was not something that I wanted to take ownership for. But in order for us to change the things in our lives, we have to bring those things to the surface and recognize them. Which then, in addition to recognizing those different things, that I was responsible for allowing people to manipulate me, walk all over me, XYZ, was also coming to the place of realization that people pleasing is a form of manipulation in and of itself. That even though our society kind of teaches us that people pleasing is what you do in order to gain the love and the trust and the validation and XYZ of other people, that in reality, people pleasing is a subconscious tactic for manipulating a circumstance or a person into doing / being the way that will keep us safe. So what do I mean by that? Just like I was saying, so when we are people pleasing, typically what we are doing is we are changing something about the way that we would say something, the way we would feel about something, the way we would behave in order to protect the emotion or the behavior of another person. And that is manipulation. Us not allowing ourselves to be the fullest, most authentic expression of ourselves in order to make sure that somebody doesn't respond to us in a way that is going to create discomfort. And I'm going to say that one more time in a different way to reiterate it. So, people pleasing is a form of manipulation. We are changing different things about ourselves, the way that we express our beliefs, our emotions, our behaviors, our thoughts, in order to elicit a specific response, a controlled response out of somebody else, as opposed to allowing ourselves, giving ourselves that permission to speak on, act on, feel, behave in the way that is actually true and authentic to us, and knowing that however somebody's going to respond to that is the way that they're going to respond to that, and that you are not responsible for it. And this is, so coming back to the whole concept of you being selfish is going to help you fuel your manifestations, is seeing that we as humans, we are innately selfish. There is, especially in like modern day society, a very negative connotation that comes behind the word selfish. And in my opinion, when it comes to people pleasing or living the life that you truly want to live for yourself, separating those two different things, you can see selfish in two different ways. So you can be selfish with the energy and the belief behind it that it's a bad thing, that that's unfair to the people in your life. If you're always putting yourself first, that you should put their wants and needs first, and that their wants and needs essentially are more important than your own, which is selfish in the way that you are manipulating their response, their behaviors, their connection, their energy towards you so that you can potentially avoid the discomfort that comes along with triggering them, or them not agreeing with something that you have to say, or them feeling a certain way based off of something that you said or did. Or there is being selfish in the way of putting yourself first from the energy of love. Putting yourself first from, when I win, then everybody wins. That I must take care of myself first in order for anybody else in my life to actually truly receive me in a way that is authentic and that is going to allow me to give from the overflow of my life, as opposed to trying to pour from an empty cup. There's two very different energies behind being selfish, but when you put it into one box of selfish is a bad thing, then you continue to play out this self-fulfilling prophecy of people pleasing and subconsciously manipulating the people in your life and doing these things that aren't actually allowing you to fill your energetic self up. If you had like an energy tank that was a foot high every single day and you were giving so much of your energy away to the wants and needs of other people and people pleasing in order to make sure you do not feel some sort of level of discomfort subconsciously, then you don't have enough in that energy tank to then continue to give. You must be selfish. Take care of yourself, take care of your wants and needs, give to yourself in the way that will fill up that energy tank so that then as you are overflowing, you are able to give the abundance of your energy to the people in your life. And when we break it down to vibration, so when you are giving from this energy of being selfish from a people-pleasing, manipulative place, that energy is more so coming from the energy of lack. That's coming from the energy of fear, scarcity, feeling as though that's something you have to do in order to create the response that you want. And that sends out that vibration into the universe, and by the law of attraction will attract back in like vibrational circumstances, people, experiences, whatnot, that are going to continue to create this self-fulfilling prophecy of lack, not enough, people-pleasing, manipulation, and create that sort of reality for yourself. Just like I was saying for myself, is when I was people-pleasing with friendships and relationships in the past, I was coming from this place of like subconscious manipulation, which then created this self-fulfilling prophecy of me giving, but that vibration coming back into my life of friends taking advantage of me, manipulating me. And that is because that was the like vibration of the circumstance that I was in and what I was willing to show up for. And breaking out of that cycle and allowing myself to be the most important person in my life, to put myself first, to make sure that I was winning, then that elevated my vibration into the place that I was coming from the energy of love, that I loved myself, I loved my life, I loved the way that I was showing up for me. That energy going out into the universe, attracted back in by the law of attraction, created more circumstances in my life that created the self-fulfilling prophecy of being supported and being loved and being so fully seen for who I was, the genuine version of Kat Kozad, as opposed to the people-pleasing, shying away from my truth, hiding my emotions, Kat Kozad, that had all of those other circumstances with friends and relationships and whatnot. And that shift really starts to happen when you give yourself permission to put yourself first, to be selfish, to recognize that you are the most important person in your life. Because you are. You are the most important person in your life. You are the only person that you will wake up with every single day. You are the only person you will go to bed with every single day. You are the only constant through the good, the bad, the ugly, all of the things that happen in your life. And if you aren't putting you first, and if you aren't being selfish within that entire experience of you walking yourself through and being with yourself through every single experience of your life, then you will continue to emit out that energy that's going to attract back in more of the circumstances that you don't want. And this isn't the energy of being selfish from the energy of like, fuck you, fuck everyone, like that kind of selfish energy. It's not this bullshitty societal perception of what selfish is. It is a selfishness from the energy of love, self-love, to be specific. That energy of self-love that then will allow you to completely fill yourself up, fill up your cup till it's overflowing, have this abundance of energy and love and support to give to the people in your life. But you cannot do that if you are not prioritizing yourself, if you are not making yourself the most important person in your life, if you're not making sure that your wants and needs are taken care of before anybody else's. An example of this that I like to think about is when it comes to manifestation and the law of attraction, there is a ton of talk around abundance when it comes to money manifestation, and that in order to attract more money into your life, you have to be willing to give money to others. And I'm not saying that is not true. So listen carefully to this piece of the podcast because I don't want there to be any sort of misconception around it. When you are in a place of scarcity, when your financial needs are not taken care of, when you are drowning in a scarcity mindset and you are trying to put yourself into the energy of abundance by giving your money away to someone else, your subconscious mind is going to freak the fuck out. Your ego is going to freak the fuck out. The fight, flight, hide, survival mode will kick in inside of you because that is creating fear. That is creating discomfort. Our bodies are quite literally trained to, when we feel fear, scarcity, lack, discomfort in our lives, go into survival mode. That goes way back to when we were cavemen and very primal and we had to run away from the things that we feared. And until you have really done the inner work to heal those different pieces of your subconscious mind and your belief systems around money and your belief systems when it comes to discomfort and fear and scarcity and lack and all of those different things, then giving that money away isn't going to project the energy of abundance. Everything comes down to not so much the action. The action of giving your money away does not decide whether it is abundance or not. The energy behind the action is what matters. Something that I always say to the ladies that I work with is it's not so much the action, but the energy behind the action. If you are spending money from the energy of, holy fuck, I need to spend my money or I need to give my money away in order to receive more abundance, that is not abundant. That is coming from the energy of lack. That is coming from the energy of I need to, I must do. And that is not an abundant energy. Whereas shifting into the energy of I am choosing to give this money. I am choosing to spend my money. I am choosing to feel abundant in this choice. And that as I am choosing to spend, give, whatever it is from this energy of abundance, I believe that I'm attracting more abundance in. Or that as this is going out, I know there's so much more where this came from. Or as this money is going out, everything that I release comes back to me tenfold. Whatever the belief is, and truly getting yourself to the place of believing that, but just giving away for the sake of abundance isn't what attracts abundance back in. Feeling like you have to be selfless or, like people pleasy, non-selfish in order to attract more abundance into your life is bullshit. It is absolute bullshit, because if you do not feel safe subconsciously to release that money in the first place, you're not going to attract that money back in. There has to be a level of safety. There has to be a level of groundedness inside of yourself and abundance inside of yourself as you are releasing it in order to attract more back into you. And so any of like going back to my initial point, one of the things that really bugs me about the spiritual community is that it teaches a lot of the time that in order to receive, you have to give. And that's not to say that giving is a bad thing. Giving is not a bad thing. I believe in giving. But it's not so much the action, it's the energy behind the action. Can it come from this place of putting yourself first, putting your wants and needs first, making sure that you are taken care of financially, in your relationships, in your career path, in everything that you are doing, and making sure that you are winning? Because when you win, the world wins. When you win, when you are energetically full and you are giving from your overflow, that energy is going to make change, long-lasting change in other people's lives, change within your own life, as opposed to this people-pleasing, give energy that comes from a place of feeling as though that has to happen in order for you to receive more of what you want. Once again, that goes back into the fact that like that comes from a subconscious, even unconscious, manipulative place. And that is not going to attract back in the abundance that you desire to see in your life. So be selfish from the energy of love. Be selfish from the energy of my wants and needs matter most, because when I win, the world wins. I know that to be 110% true in my life. When I gave myself permission to step into this role of I'm the most important person in my life, and when I prioritize my wants and needs and I put myself above everybody else in terms of wants and needs, and I take care of those things, then I win. And I believe full-heartedly that when I win and I am showing up as the best version of myself, the world wins. Everybody wins. Y'all who listen to the podcast win. You get the best version of me. My clients get the best versions of me. My family gets the best version of me. My friends get the best version of me. And I have seen such a drastic change inside of my life over the past, I'd say like 10 months, really starting to choose this reality for myself that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay for me to put myself first. It's okay to make sure that I am the priority, because by choosing that for myself, I've had such an abundant change inside of my finances, inside of my relationships, inside of my business, inside of the results that my clients get. When I put myself first, my clients get even better results because they are getting an elevated energy that they wouldn't have been getting if I was to not put myself first. So really recognizing for yourself in your life, asking yourself, how would the people in my life win if I chose to put myself first? And allowing yourself to know that that can be the reality. How would your family win? How would your friends win? How would your coworkers win? How would your clients win? How would you win inside of your finances? How would you win inside of your health? If you were to prioritize yourself in every single aspect of your life, how different would things look for you right now? Because I can tell you from my own experience, it's life-changing to give yourself that permission to put yourself first, to claim that you are the most important person in your life, and to show up from the selfish energy of love, specifically self-love. So that is how you being selfish actually helps you fuel your manifestations. And if you take anything away from the podcast today, I hope that it is to just even for a week, give yourself permission to try this out. Give yourself permission to ask yourself, what do I need right now? Instead of going into the easy patterning and conditioning that it's so easy for us to go into of like, oh my God, what does everybody else in my life need? How can I show up for others right now? How can I show up for my friends, my family, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my person? Like, how can I show up for them? No. How can I show up for me? What do I need? What do I want right now? And allow yourself to have that. Allow yourself to change your relationship with selfishness. Allow yourself to change that definition so that it actually serves you, and you allow yourself to embody it, because through that embodiment of putting your wants and needs first, implementing the boundaries that you need to implement, changing the different things around in your life that you need to change in order to make yourself the number one priority, the universe responds to that. Anytime we choose a vibration, anytime we create choice for ourselves, the universe will respond to that vibration and will immediately start to conspire to bring like vibrational experiences into our lives. This has been a fucking game changer for me. So that is what I have for y'all today. I hope that whoever is listening to this, it resonates with you. I know that this is something that I see majority of the women that I work with experience is getting to this place of allowing themselves to be the number one person in their lives and to fully embody that level of self-love that you don't have to justify why your wants and needs are the most important. You just know that they are. And through that, you attract in so much more abundance, more money, healthier, more supportive relationships, things and opportunities in your life that are actually going to serve you. So, yeah, that's what we got today. I love you all so much. If you know somebody that is a people pleaser and they need some major self-love and some permission to put themselves first, send this episode their way. Let's create this change, because when we create this change, we're actually making the world a better place. Just like I said, when you win, the world wins. So go out there and win. Go out there and prioritize yourself. And I will chat with y'all on the next episode. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I am so grateful to have these no bullshit talks with you. If you enjoyed today's episode or the podcast as a whole, please spread the love by leaving me a review on iTunes or sharing the podcast with others. This is how I will be able to spread more of these good vibes and be able to make more of an impact on the lives of others. And if you're not already part of all of the goodness and communities that I have to offer, check out the show notes. I have links to the different ways that I can support you on your manifestation journey and help you live a life full of more money, fulfillment, and freedom. But that is all for now. So big love and hugs, and I will chat with you soon, babe.